All eyes will be on this year's Super Bowl.
Here with a look at California's rules on sports betting. Are you one of those that bet? Fox 5 legal expert? No?
I don't know nothing about that.
No. When do you
No, I don't. I really don't.
I'm thinking maybe he does when
I don't. No. I just have that face. I really, I don't.
Okay, well then pay attention. What are the laws, especially when it comes in particular to our state when it comes to sports betting?
Well, sports betting is still illegal in California, and some people are surprised to hear that because they think, wait a minute, don't we talk about that all day long? Well, there's a difference between sports betting and some of the other types of, we'll call them games that we play and activities that we're involved in. And I also have to say, this is an area of the law that's always in flux. I mean, there was the latest round of propositions were back in 2022. We're a little bit complicated here in California because we have so many tribal casinos. So there's a lot of equities to be balanced. Now, on the other side, there's a lot of money to be made in California if we were to legalize it. But sports betting is where you're wagering on the outcome of games. And they consider that to have the knowledge and skill to influence, which is very different from playing the lottery or pulling the lever on a slot machine, or however they do it nowadays. That's chance. Your knowledge and skill can't impact that. So that's one of the things that makes California a little bit different, is that we really recognize that distinction, and that casinos really sort of have the place where you can engage in gambling, and the rest of the state you just can't.
I like how you pointed out that some people might be surprised to hear that in California it's illegal still, because all the commercials when you're watching any sporting event, you have the top celebrity sports people. It is all fantasy football sites, online gambling, all this stuff. Where's the loophole there? It's illegal in California, but if you do it on your phone or on a website, it's legal?
Well, what's interesting about that, and that's one of the reasons I usually cite this as one of the nuances, is, there's an Attorney General opinion, Rob Bonta, who we just saw in connection with human trafficking, saying it's things like fantasy football are illegal. But you also have to look at how that qualifies, and the fact that courts we've argued this both ways in the courts. Some things can be legalized because they don't fit technically into the definition of sports betting, where other things remain. And it's also true that sometimes these laws aren't enforced in the ways that they should be, and so people sort of become accustomed to thinking, well, such and such hasn't been decriminalized, but it's not enforced. Most people want to know, what does the law say? Because everybody wants to make sure that they make these wise choices, especially considering all of the venues available to bet legally. I'll tell you, the one sort of, it's not a loophole, it's an exception, is horse racing. You can go to the track and place your bets. Yet, it's really important on everybody to just, especially now that the Super Bowl is coming up, research the options you have available and just stay within the boundaries of the law to be safe.
Now I'm confused. So what is legal and what's not? You lost me.
Well, remember, the law is phrased to distinguish sports betting from games of chance. If you just start from that framework, if you're going to bet on sports and you know a lot about a particular sport, you're probably going to be able to make an intelligent wager because it's knowledge and skill. Those are
like if you're going to buy stocks and you're well informed, you know a lot about a certain stock or a certain company.
And you're
going to make more money then?
Right, and you can say that translates into lots of other wagers. I guess not horse racing, but I mean, I would even make an argument if you know about the horses and the jockeys, that would be included too.
Because that's what they do, though.
Well, that's why so many people spend so much money there. But then take a step back and think about what's just pure games of chance gambling, okay? Roulette, slots, the lottery. I mean, there's nobody who could make an intelligent argument that, well, that's a game of skill. I know some people say video poker is. I don't know. I think it's all, house wins, games of chance. But that's an important distinction to make now that the Super Bowl teams are set, because that's, like you said, Raul, that's what everybody's talking about.
Listen, I don't know what face I was making to make Charlie think one thing, but I don't know any. Kalshi. I see it on like Kalshi? Some uniforms in the NBA and Poly Market. These are like a prediction market.
Okay,
right?
that's
what
the distinction.
That?
That's right.
But they're sponsored. Like I think there's an NBA team that has that on their jersey or something like that. It's like, what? Didn't a bunch of NBA players just get busted for gambling?
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other story.
The three of us talked about that
Oh
a couple
my
months
God.
ago, right? So you're right. These are considered to be prediction markets, which is different from the terminology and the definition that relates to sports betting. And federal courts have ruled that these things are legal. So it's a very different analysis legally and also terminology. How do you classify this kind of game? Let's call them all games, because that's why people engage in them. It's, they like to bet, they like to,
Sure.
and it's a prediction market is not narrowly tailored to be just the outcome of a sporting event. Because remember, sports betting, it's not just about who's going to win. It's about which players are going to score above a different number.
Yeah, the prop bets are added on.
Right, there are so many different variations, which is why it's fun, and which is why most states in the nation have legalized it. But as with so many other things, we haven't legalized it here.
I'm still confused. But what I'm not confused about is that day after the Super Bowl. Even if you watch football, you don't. Is there any way to like legally make that a holiday or something?
Yes, and I'm gonna
Bet on that.
And I'm gonna quote. I was just gonna go there too. I'm gonna quote something that we say when it's difficult. It would require an act of Congress. That's the answer. It would require an act
Literally,
of Congress,
yes.
literally. And this is why there's been a push. Is Super Bowl Monday, as we affectionately call the Monday after the Super Bowl, is traditionally marked with low productivity and high absenteeism.
Yes.
So many employers are saying, can we unofficially grant that day, or can we
Yes.
sponsor
if you-
legislation?
If you think about it, the game starts at 6:30 on the East Coast.
Right.
And it ends like at 10:30, 11, and then
It's
the
just
celebrations.
too late.
People aren't going.
Too late.
If you are at work, you're not doing
I
your
mean,
best.
that wouldn't really matter for us. We'd still be here, so.
That's true. Wendy Patrick.
Thank you.
What a delight.
you.
Always good to see you.
you.
We'll be right back.